What's up, everyone? So today I want to talk to you about Blade. Man, is Blade still one of the top champions in Marvel Contest of Champions in 2020? Um, I think so, but let's figure it out. Let's figure it out together. Um, just a quick background: about 2 years ago, Blade was one of the top champions in the game. He was the one that everybody wanted. He was one of the last featured 5-star crystals back when they did a percent chance to get the newest released champion on a featured 5-star rather than just a pool of the newest released within the last 90 days. Um, Man, there was a big hashtag save for Blade. People were going crazy. They were saving hundreds of thousands of 5-star shards. And matter of fact, that's how I got him. I saved enough for 4 featured 5-star crystals. I think it was 2 Februarys ago, and I ended up getting him and then duping him in 4 of those crystals. So, um, yeah, no. So he is fantastic, but is he still as good as everyone thinks? Let's go over his abilities real roughly. For his duped ability, it basically allows him to you have to dash back, hold block, and it'll burn your power. In exchange, you'll get some regeneration abilities. As you bump up your signature level, it'll burn less power and give you more health. Um, on parry, it allows you to bleed the opponent, and then anytime you bleed the opponent, you actually have a power gain. I believe it's up to 7% of a bar of power per second. Um, One of his main features is Danger Sense. That allows him to have more attack and ability accuracy reduction towards just right out of the box. It's only dimensional beings, which I believe there are about 4 or 5 of them in all of Contest of Champions. He gets more that extends out, but we'll talk about that in a second. Also, based on his stored power, it allows him to shorten the length of damage over time debuffs or regular debuffs, which is very, very helpful and pretty archetypical of a skilled champion. The special one, it just inflicts a bleed and does a lot of damage, but when you inflict that bleed, it also allows you to gain some power. So, special 2, same thing, and it'll allow you to stack a bunch of bleeds, therefore more power gain. And then the special 3, again, gives a pretty major bleed, but it also has a percent chance to stun for 3 seconds. So, not too bad. So just a quick sum up. He basically plays around bleeding the opponent. That allows him to get power gain. And then a major thing is, depending on the matchup, he can have a crazy raised attack and also reduce the ability accuracy. But that last piece is very important. Depending on what synergy you bring. So if you bring Mephisto or Dormammu, his danger sense now extends from just the 4 or 5 dimensional beings in the game to all Mystic Champs in the game. You don't see this too much anymore. A lot of Mystic Champions also happen to be villains. So, this leads you to the Ghost Rider, which is part of, he is one of the 3 Holy Trinity synergy team that you bring. But this extends his dimensional. No, this extends this extends his danger sense out to all villains, which happens to be about half of all champions in the game. Then, when you bring Stark Spidey, it boosts up his potency of danger sense by 45%. That means if you are using Stark Spidey and Blade and fighting against someone who you have danger sense with, so if it's dimensional beings without any extra synergy help, villains when you bring Ghost Rider, and all Mystic Champions when you bring either Mephisto or Dormammu, you basically shut down their abilities. There's a 15% chance that they'll proc their abilities, but it's an 85% ability reduction against anyone you have Blade's danger sense with when you bring Stark Spidey. Therefore, they call it the Holy Trinity in the community, or it's a great team to bring Blade, Ghost Rider, and Stark Spidey, who also happen to be really awesome champions. But anyway, Blade on his own, is he still amazing? Let's look at some games. Okay, so here we have Blade faced up against a Doctor Strange in Variant 4. I have the Synergy team with Stark, Spidey, and Dormammu. It allows me to have Danger Sense against all Mystic champions. This Doctor Strange in particularly was very tough. He has improved power gain, which basically allows him to spam special 1s and special 2s. And I am just able to out damage that power gain and just totally fly through him. Next up, we have a Red Skull. This is from Variant 1, which I believe is the hardest content in the game. I have no Danger Sense ability right here because I'm not allowed to bring anybody other than a skill or a mutant champion. So, as you can see, I'm fighting as a regular 565 champ. No special abilities here. This is just Blade out of the box without a major component to him. This is a bad matchup, I would consider it. But as you can see, some of the Burden of Might is not allowing me to have my regular power gain. It's burning up some of my power. So I'm relying on bleeding Red Skull as much as I can to get power gain and be able to spam my special 2 and do as much damage as I can. This is a long fight. I believe he has about 200,000 health. And this is about as bad of a matchup as you can get. The only other way it could be worse is if he was completely bleed immune, and then it would be relying solely on regular damage from kinetic hits. My crits would be about 2,000 and 3,000 for a medium. So here we go, moving along, Burden of Might path. It's a 100,000 health point Hood. Hood happens to be a dimensional being, so I do get regular Danger Sense against him. That means I am 40% ability accuracy reduction and a massive power attack rating boost. And as you can see, I'm just melting him. Look at that. Crazy, crazy attack. And then finally, this is the end of a Labyrinth of Legends Red Hulk takedown. I have the full Trinity going. You can see I have the class advantage, which gives me 10% attack boost. And I am just, even non-critting, I'm doing about 1,400 damage. So that is a medium. Oh, man. Crazy. Crazy, crazy damage. I know it said 248 hits. I got hit once. That was a 400 hit takedown of a champion who has 1.5 million health points. And then finally, I wanted to show you an Act 6 souped up Void. He has True Strike, Stun Immune, and Debilitate. Void's basic means of doing damage against you is to apply debuffs to you. And I wanted to demonstrate how Blade, with his Danger Sense, can pretty much bypass Void's ability to apply a debuff to you. So as you can see, I'm playing regular. I'm trying to bleed him on my parry, and he's trying to apply that debuff, and with Danger Sense I was able to bypass that completely. Okay, and now look at the damage. It's just going to go through the roof. I have my power gain from him bleeding, and now I'm going to spam a special 2. I already have a bar of power back. If this was at the end of a path in a very long quest, I would play a little bit more defensively. I would try to back up and hold block in order to gain some of my lost percentage health back. But yeah. So Blade, he was my first 565. I absolutely love him. I don't regret him to this day. I still use him on a monthly basis for the monthly event quests. He was my first initial Labyrinth of Legends champion that I cleared with. I used him pretty much throughout in the entirety of Act 5. I still very much use him for Act 6. His damage is amazing. His bleed is amazing with the Deep Wound Synergy especially. It allows for a crazy power gain, and then the power gain allows for infinite regen, which is so incredibly valuable, especially when you're doing long content like Labyrinth of Legends, or when you're fighting against health pools of 150k, 200k. Yeah, absolutely. He is an incredible champion. And the synergies, Ghost Rider is amazing as well. There's another video I'm going to do on him, same as Stark Spidey. But yeah, he is a worthwhile champion to invest in. If you have all three in the Trinity, I would invest in all three and highly encourage that. If you just have Blade, he is still on his own an awesome champion. In his worst matchup, the infinite regen mechanic is so incredibly valuable for him to be able to just survive long fights and bad matchups. So, yeah, I would definitely say he's a worthwhile champion. He's one of the best in the game. The infinite regen, the crazy damage, and when he's got the right matchup and you have danger sense, you can completely bypass abilities like electro shock and such like that. So, yeah, in 2020, Blade is going to do some serious work for me, and hope he's going to do some work for you